Qingdao is a Chinese city like no other. Situated in the north of China, on the coast, around 5 hours by train from Beijing, it has a short history, but one full of turmoil. Initially a small fishing village, it was occupied by Germany in the late 1800s, and is still the only city in China that was occupied by European powers. With the outbreak of World War I, it was very quickly overrun by Japanese forces, who then took control of the city. After the war, the Japanese maintained control of the city, which caused outrage among Chinese citizens, later known as the May 4th movement. It eventually returned to Chinese control again, before falling to Japanese control again during World War II. It is now very much a Chinese city, but still maintains some of its German influence. This can be seen in the architecture in the older part of town, with buildings such as St. Michael's Cathedral and the old train station. This is also evident in the famous German-founded beer of the city, Qingdao beer. The best way to enjoy the beer at its freshest is in a bag. No, seriously. During the summer months, Qingdao's busiest time period, a favourite pastime is to grab one of those beers, head to the beach, relax, and watch scantily clad men playing volleyball. The women, however, will be wearing as much as possible, including wearing face kinis, which originated in the city. There are a number of beaches which you can visit, but I would recommend avoiding beach number 1, as this tends to be the most overrun during the summer. When you get tired of watching men floundering around in their budgie smugglers, you can always head for a walk around May 4th Square. Dedicated to those who rose up against Japanese occupation, the square is a hive of activity at all times of the day. During the day, you'll find people fishing or playing Chinese chess with friends. Joggers will occasionally have the same attire as those on the beaches. In the evenings, it's not uncommon to find women dancing in the square in groups, an activity someone lovingly called zombie dancing. A favourite activity of mine during the warm weather was to rent a bicycle and ride it along the seafront. Passing by notable landmarks such as the Marina, May 4th Square and Zhangtiao Pier, you can watch as the modern city slowly shifts into the older part of town. As summer becomes autumn and the leaves begin to change on the trees, a great place to visit is Badaguan. Literally translated as 8 Great Passes, it is a neighbourhood containing mansions that used to house affluential people of the city. Today, the tree-lined streets are a great place to go to get away from the hustle and bustle. Not far from Badaguan sits Xiaoyu Shan, or Little Fish Hill. This is a good scenic spot, overlooking parts of the city and beach number 1. You can climb to the top of the pagoda to get an even better view. As winter comes in, it becomes decidedly colder, and it's not so good to take a walk outside. Instead, days can be spent in one of the many coffee shops all over the city. Due to a growing coffee culture and an increase in demand, this does unfortunately lead to a number of subpar coffee shops. However, that makes the reward so much greater when you find that one great one. personal favourite of mine was one called the Little Witch Cafe. Filled to the brim with knickknacks from days gone by, it was a wonderful refuge from the cold, blustery weather outside. If shopping is more your thing, you're spoilt for choice. Qingdao is home to one of the largest malls in China. Although with the country growing so quickly, this statement is probably already outdated. At MixC, you could easily spend the day, whether it be clothes shopping, trying one of the many restaurants, watching a film, or hanging out at the arcades. Another interesting place to visit is the old governor's house. Maintaining its German influence, the building is one of several which give a glimpse into China's rare colonial past. While the summer is great for seafood and barbecue, during the winter I personally prefer going to a part of the city I call Little Asia. Due to the close proximity of South Korea and Japan, there are a number of their citizens within the city. This means there is a neighborhood with a plethora of Japanese and Korean restaurants for you to choose from. Spring brings new life to the city, with people venturing out of their homes once again. If you somehow manage to find yourself in the city instead of nearby Japan during Sakura season, don't worry, Zhongshan Park has you covered. You can still enjoy picnics under fluttering cherry blossom, but it's better to go early to avoid the crowds. And that is but a small taste of Qingdao, a city I happily called home for a number of years. A city rapidly developing but still maintaining its unique history.